good to try to improve, right? My name is Kayla DeHaan Hill. Welcome, the three of you. I love it. So, question before we begin: anyone here want to be fat, sick, and depressed? Good. That's a whole different issue. Someone raise their hand. Is it common or uncommon in someone's life to end up fat and or sick or depressed?
Yeah.
Pretty common.
Yeah.
And I've been there, so I'd like to share my story if it's okay with you guys. Is it a safe place to do so?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you. When I was about, and I've really struggled with depression and anxiety my entire life, and when I was about 28 to 30, I was in a really, really dark place. My blood pressure was so high, I lost the left side of my vision. I was trying to see patients, and I'd run into walls because I couldn't see. And also, literally half my hair was just coming out in clumps. And not only that, so I kept going to doctors like something's wrong, and here's your medication. I'm like, well, why is this happening? I'm not understanding. And they're like, okay, let's go exercise more, eat less, and all these different things. And then within 1 month, things kept happening. I gained 40 pounds in 1 month. If you think about it, that's a lot of weight in a very short period of time. Going doctor, like, okay, what's going on? Something's wrong. Hear me, listen to me. And I didn't tell them what I did for a living because I wanted to see how they treat me. It was awful, and not every doctor's this way, but they would not even look at me. They typed me their little notes, and I'm like, I'm right here. I didn't feel heard, I didn't feel seen, I was suffering, they just didn't seem to care. So things just kept progressing, and then the worst things started happening. I started breaking bone after bone after bone, and I'm not talking, I've got a fun story to go with it. I would sit on a chair like this one, I'd break my scapula. I would sit on a couch, and I would literally break my neck. And it was just ribs, and it just kept happening. More doctors, I went to spine surgeons, I went to oncologists, and they all said the same thing. I've never seen this before, I don't know, go see someone else. And they wanted to keep giving me pain medicine, and they actually accused me of throwing myself down the stairs. I heard all sorts of things. I'm like, this is serious, I'm struggling, I need help. And I was just like, I was desperate. The pain, have either of you guys ever broken a bone before? You have?
I've fractured one, but not broken.
Okay. But you know what that pain feels
I
like.
have 12 on my foot.
Okay, well it does hurt.
Tiny, but it hurts.
Yeah, you can't massage it away. It's very deep, debilitating, penetrating pain. And I literally dealt with that constantly. It was horrendous. I was suffering. And I remember very distinctly one evening, I literally fell to the floor in my kitchen. I will never forget this. And I literally asked God to take my life. I can't do this anymore. I cannot be in this much pain. And I was like, God, I never asked for help from God before my life. And I said, please, God, if you're there, please help me. I'm suffering. I can't live like this anymore. And I was very blessed because I got answers after that. It truly was not the answers it wasn't the diagnosis that saved my life. It was literally how I took care of my life and my health at that point. I was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disease. That's why I kept breaking bones, fracturing, and my muscles would rupture spontaneously, so I had multiple surgeries for that. I was diagnosed with POTS syndrome. Anyone know what that is? You don't want to know. I actually happened to sit during this presentation because if I stand too long, I will faint. It's a cardiovascular issue. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Anyone know what that is? PCOS. It's a genetic disease of insulin resistance. It's why I was gaining massive weight and my thyroid function had completely turned off. So there's answers, right? Great, fantastic. But getting my hormones optimized, learning to exercise the right way versus over-exercising and overdoing everything, because working out for 2 hours, a broken neck was not working. It was very not smart of me. But it truly was how I took care of my life. It literally saved my life. It's why I'm passionate. I learned to eat the right way, detox my body. It saved my life. So I'm passionate because not only did it save my life, but me getting healthier, I was able to help a lot of people in the process. So it's my passion. So tonight we're going to talk about hormones, inflammation, and fatigue. And tonight is all about you. Hormone issues, anybody?
I don't know.
Questioning hormone issues. Okay. Fatigue. Exhaustion. Insomnia. Gastrointestinal issues. Not feeling your best. Did anyone marked and dragged here? Just wanted the food?
I don't know where you heard that.
Any kind of endocrine issue or just something you feel is completely off. Inflammation, pain. Okay. What brought you here, Deidre?
Oh, just some of the things you talked about with the fatigue.
Yeah.
Just very, very tired all the time, even if I get a good night's sleep. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of hours of deep sleep. I wake up tired all the time.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Yes, and it just keeps going. Do you deal with anything, Mark?
I deal with a lot.
A
I was
lot
gonna
of
say
stuff.
it deals with me.
That's my smallest issue because she's sitting right here. No, I'm just kidding. No, I feel the same way. Like I feel like what's funny is like I run out of gas on a dime, so I'll just be sitting
Quickly.
and I'll be like I'm tired, and then I don't rest
Right.
soundly.
Got it.
I'm up 4 times a night.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
I've done a sleep study and
yeah. Yeah.
sleep apnea. This is a safe place, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I have sleep apnea, so I sleep with the machine.
Oh yeah.
That's not comfortable.
Not comfortable.
Yeah.
This is for you as well, by the way. I'm glad you came. Yeah,
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here. And I like to bring these questions up because it allows us to know that we all suffer with different things. It might not be exactly the same, but we're all in this together. So, question, if your health is not completely optimized, do you feel you can fulfill your life's purpose?
Not as well.
It's harder.
It's harder, right? Do any of you guys feel like right now you're living your life on purpose? Like you know you're exactly where you should be right now? Rarely do I get a raising of a hand, so
I think we always question.
yeah. A
That's
lot
what keeps you going is questioning. Right?
Yeah. So a lot of us know that we know our health needs to be optimized, but a lot of times we're not sure where to go, and we will definitely talk about this. I truly know, even though I do struggle on a daily basis, which having this connective tissue disease is not fun. I know right now I'm living my life on purpose. Everything's perfect? No, of course not. But truly, this is my passion. My purpose is to be here with you guys, and I mean that. Amy, when she came to a presentation, she literally sat in this chair right now, right here. Very, very packed house during that time, crying during the whole entire process. I'm like, what is going on? But she came into for it with a complete wellness evaluation, and she was just literally in tears. She was tired all the time. She went to menopause really early in her 40s. She just kept gaining and gaining and gaining, but it was, yes, the weight gain was a problem, obviously. Her fatigue was so debilitating. Her kids were asking, what's wrong with you? I'm worried. That's what got her here. It was mainly her kids asking what's wrong because she didn't want her teenage kids to worry. Also because she was eating poorly, her kids were eating poorly, and they were gaining weight, not exercising, because do kids watch what we do or listen to what we say?
Watch.
Yes. So she trusted the process, and we did a program with her. She wanted to share that she's down 40 pounds, more energy. She's excited to get up in the morning. She's now working. She couldn't work before. Better mindset, eating better, setting the example for her teenage kids. Because she started eating better, exercising, her kids are now doing it. They've lost about 40 pounds each. And they now exercise on a daily basis. So she's not, you hear about generational wealth. She's literally teaching generational health. So that is like my passion too, to help that with my kids too. She wishes she would have found the program sooner. So that was her after picture. She was actually lost a little bit more weight, but it's just her energy, her happiness, and that she's leading by example. So she did something different. So as we go through this, I want you to start thinking, are you willing to do something different? Because she did. I'm really proud of her. So tonight what we're going to cover first, America's healthcare crisis. Why do you guys think it's a crisis? Why do you guys know it's a crisis?
More and more people are getting worse than better.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Diabetes, obesity.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What does your health insurance card pay for?
Not that.
It'll cover the medications, right? Well, sometimes. It pretty much covers pills and procedures, things you hope you don't need, and it sometimes doesn't even do that, right? So, and I'm not against health insurance. We need it for emergencies. My oldest son, poor kid, he broke his nose a few weeks ago. We needed insurance, right? But I feel like so many times people are looking towards that health insurance card to fix them and save them, because does it pay for us to get healthy, our food, nutrition, exercise? It does not. It's just, we need to start looking at like we do our car insurance, because does our car insurance pay for our oil change or washing it or anything like that, maintenance? No, I wish it did, but it does not. We're gonna go over stress, hormones, and health, and also the underlying cause. So many times practitioners will go, okay, your cholesterol, for example, is high. Here's a statin, which is for cholesterol. Well, over a period of 10 years being on a statin, you have a 666% increased chance of getting diabetes. Well, now you're on insulin or you're on metformin. Well, then you start gaining weight. I mean, I could keep going. It's a cycle. Usually when you need a medication for something, you need to keep taking different medications to cover those issues. So the underlying cause, that's actually the definition of functional medicine, to figure out the underlying cause, address that, so you don't need to keep doing that. How to take action to protect your health naturally. This training is for you if you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. I know exhausted is a theme in the three of you. You're not feeling as good as you know you should. You know you do things differently, but you're really not sure how. That's kind of where I was. You realize health does not come in a bottle. Are you guys at that point? You're willing to take ownership of your health. I know what this feels like on both sides. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been so for about 20 years. I literally would see patients every day, and I would literally get yelled at every single day, every day. Go faster, faster, faster. I'm not making the money that I used to. The doctor would tell me this. And I'd have all these patients with all these complicated issues, and I'm supposed to see them in 7 minutes. It does not, trust me, it does not work. And then I take longer because I wanted to actually listen and try to help them, and I just get in trouble for it. It was ridiculous. Does anyone here know what it feels like, getting your labs done and they look normal, but you don't feel normal? Do you guys know what that feels like? That's where I was too, going to doctor, like, what's going on? I can't figure this out. Your labs are normal, you're fine. I'm like, no, absolutely not. And it's like, you're doing everything you're supposed to, but nothing's getting better. It is exhausting. This process doesn't work. It's a never-ending cycle. There's a better way of doing things. What we don't want to do is get to the point in our lives where we're filled with regret and wish to God we did something different. No one ever feels they're going to be there. We don't think about those things. But I'm sure everyone here knows someone in that situation or has been in a situation. Is that right? Yeah. This picture always reminds me of a man named Armin, and it breaks my heart to talk about it every single time. And I've shared this story multiple times. But a wonderful, wonderful man. Grew up in South Dakota with his wife, kids, had grandkids. He grew his crops in the backyard, and I still remember, the little ends of green beans, just pulling them off, like breaking them off with him. He would go door to door and give everybody his crops because he loved it. It was just his passion. He loved it. It was very unfortunate. Several years ago, diagnosed with prostate cancer. Couldn't take care of himself. He actually got moved from there to here into a home where they're going to take care of him. Right? His wife came. His health just went downhill. Every meal, sugar, sugar, sugar. I tried to teach him nutrition. He's like, no, why would they give me food that would hurt me? I'm like, you grew crops. This was healthy. This is not healthy. His health just went downhill. He developed colon cancer, myasthenia gravis. It's an autoimmune condition. And he just felt awful. And his wife's health went downhill. Dementia started happening and Alzheimer's, all these things. And then one day his oncologist said, well, I need to give you medication to cut all your hormones off to zero. I have never begged anything more in my life, like, please don't do this. I tried to explain, I tried all these different things. It's going to kill you. And it broke my heart. And he's like, well, no, why would the oncologist ever give me something that would hurt me? I'm like, he just doesn't want you to die of prostate cancer because he gets sued. Let's just be honest. He's like, no, I trust him. It just breaks my heart because as soon as he took that medication to shut all his hormones off, he died very quickly. And it kills me, and even to this day talking about it, because it was my grandfather. Everyone dies at some time, right? But it was the way he died, and it wasn't right. This was 1 week apart. That's how fast that was. Peleus got to hold my first son, which was so important to me. But I shared this picture of him in the hospital. He was begging to go home to see his wife and just be with her before he died. They gave him all this different sugar and this sugar. He's like, I'm just so tired. I was like, why can't you give him something different? Like, this is making him feel terrible. Well, he just give all the sugar he wants. He's gonna die anyways, was the response. I about lost my mind with that comment. But they finally let him try to go home, and he died on the way home. And I share this story even though it's really hard because we don't have to live this way. We don't have to die this way. We can die with dignity. And I miss that man every day, and it didn't have to be like that. So I share this even though it's really hard, but I think it's important. This picture of this woman with all these prescription bottles, common or uncommon? Maybe add a few more? Yeah. What if she's 30? Is it becoming more common? It is. It's very sadly is. And usually, just like I said, you've got on one medication, it creates symptoms, and you need other medications. And this, it's kind of like if you imagine like your check engine light went on in your car, You literally go to the service station, they take it in the back, and all they do is flip the switch off, and they bring it to you, and you're all excited. This is the best customer service ever. My car's fixed. Go down the road, and let's just say the light goes back on or breaks down, whatever. Was the underlying issue addressed? No. So it just treated the symptom. But us being in this fast-paced world, we want instant gratification. Yeah, it's like, this is great, but the underlying issue does not get addressed, and that's why we have this healthcare issue going on. Do any of you guys deal with high blood pressure? Because with sleep apnea, I'm assuming you do. Do you take medication for it?
Yes.
Okay, so for an example, let's just say you don't take your medication for 2 to 3 days. What happens to your blood pressure?
Probably spikes.
Right. And then let's say you go back on it and you're on it for a couple more days. What happens to your blood pressure?
Probably goes back down.
Right. But did the underlying issue get addressed? No, it's treating the symptom, but that's what it does.
Yeah.
Did your doctor ever talk to you about changing your lifestyle at all?
No.
Well,
Only hit 7 minutes.
well, exactly right. 7 minutes. You can't get very far in 7 minutes. No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a problem. So America's health crisis, unacceptable costs and unacceptable outcomes. 3.5 trillion spent annually in healthcare. And if you think about it, people are just getting worse. The money is going towards meds and all these things versus trying to get you well and keeping you there. 90% is on chronic health conditions. It's not getting better. Double the amount of other developed nations. 70% of all deaths caused by top 5 chronic diseases. But sure, they'll sure throw money at the medications for it. United States ranked 37 out of 40 in health outcomes. Does that surprise anybody?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Is there a pill for that? Constipation, diarrhea, IBS. There's a pill for everything, right? So we had, but it doesn't really treat the underlying issue. We had a patient recently come in, very much knew that every time that she ate dairy, she'd get diarrhea. So she went to her GI doctor, got on medication for diarrhea. Well, just stop the dairy. Like, that's the issue, stop it. And it just doesn't make sense to me. But there's a pill for everything, yes, but it's not treating the underlying issue. Tired and sluggish, that's one of the focuses of today, being tired. But how often are we pushing? Here's your caffeine, Red Bull, all these different things, and then we're just exhausted. It's just like no matter what, just like you were saying, you're just tired all day, every day. Well, pretty much everybody here. And this poor lady is taking a nap at the gym. She at least went there, she's not doing much, but that's just what happens, yes. Depression, there are so many different causes of depression, and some people absolutely need antidepressants. I'm not against those, but I feel too often, well, here's your meds, here's this. Well, there's an underlying issue going on. Are your hormones off? Are your nutrients off? Do you have an MTHFR gene mutation? There's different things with that. And yes, antidepressants might be the answer, but maybe there are other things too. Anxiety. Has anyone not dealt with that before? Appreciate the honesty, or you just don't want to raise your hand, whatever way that is. Yeah, there's been so often, oh, here's your anti-anxiety medication. Well, maybe there's a reason we need to address versus getting prescriptions for that. Insomnia, yes. Insomnia is miserable. My husband has no idea what that is. He's like, what? I don't understand. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. He falls asleep in a matter of 2 seconds. But those, like, the time that your mind is the most active, a lot of times is before you go to bed, and it's just like this rotating. Anyone know what that feels like?
Oh.
It's like the computer.
It is. It's like stop it. You can't push off. But yes, let's figure out, is there an issue going on? Is there something that needs to be addressed so you can sleep soundly? What if your hormones are off? Being up all night, is your testosterone low? There's different reasons. Mood swings and emotional. It's not. Deidre was like. So, but here's your medication for this. Well, let's see. Let's check those hormones. Let's check the vitamins. Let's check the minerals. As a society, are we gaining weight or losing weight? Yes. And how many prescriptions are there out there with semaglutide, Ribelsis? I mean, all those different things. So they work fantastic. But what happens when you get off? When you're not, but you also have not addressed the underlying issue. You gain it right back. I see it all the time. So, but it works beautifully, but then it reverses really quickly. Yeah, there's so much plenty
Well,
out
it's
there.
similar to a fad diet versus a lifestyle change.
Correct. That's exactly right. And I'm not against those medications. Some people need to be on them, but for the most part, if the underlying issue is not been addressed, it's just going to come right back on. And they're not cheap. You guys, I'm sure, have heard that. I love Amy to pieces. I love her to pieces. I've known her for a very long time. She dealt with weight her entire life, and I've known her for a very long time, about 20 years. She, at 21, diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, is what I deal with. She really got to recognize her food struggles, her food allergies, and insulin resistance issues. She had lost her mom recently to type 2 diabetes, and she was terrified of going down that road. And because she was eating poorly and not exercising, her teenage son was doing the same exact thing. So because she actually trusted the process, which she was very skeptical, her son has now lost, I think, about 60 pounds. He's now doing mountain climbing. Like, I saw pictures of that. I'm like, who is this? But she has now lost over 50 pounds. Depression and anxiety is so much better. She makes better choices every day. The office cheers her on and helps her focus on her why. She wants to live, and she wants to encourage others to seek life. It's worth it. She also, as long as I've known her, which is a very long time, she always wanted to be a nurse. She's like, I feel like a hypocrite. I can't do it. I'm eating like crap. She's had eating disorders. She's like, I can't do this. And then she wouldn't exercise. But because she's done this process, she is now in her 3rd semester making straight A's. I'm very, very proud of her. She's now pursuing her dreams of being a nurse. I'm so proud. Truly proud of her. So this, we'll call it sick care model versus healthcare model. Do we have wrong or lacking information?
Probably a little both.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And why is that, do you think?
You only have 7 minutes.
That's very true, yes. But like we discussed, money drives everything.
Mm-hmm.
We are marketed to every single day. So finish this sentence, milk does the body,
Good.
but does it? No, it's usually full of hormones and it's not good. Or snap, crackle,
Pop.
We are advertised to every single day. Politics, economics, and the things we're advertised to. Yes, absolutely. I will not torture anyone with this conversation. We've been so inundated with that. But the only thing about COVID-19, how an unfortunate crisis did create surprising opportunities for our health. It's about thriving, not merely surviving. We were in fight or flight mode for years. It's time to come out of that. But at least we know, understand the importance of our immune system and taking care of our health. We don't have control over everything in our lives, obviously. We're all as young as we're going to be at this exact moment. We cannot stop aging, unfortunately. But there's things we absolutely can do, we have control over. We can be proactive, consider food medicine to heal the body from the inside out, address any blood sugar imbalances, improve heart health, boost our immune system, minimize inflammation, which is the start of every single disease process, calm the autoimmune process down, and balance hormones. Those things we can do. And the reason we get the results we do is we incorporate the 5 pillars of health into a system, which is nutrition, hormones, fitness, detox, and mentoring. But before we go through those, question for you all. How did we get here? Like overall, why do you guys think we're getting sicker and sicker as a whole? If you don't know, it's okay.
I mean, the food
Correct.
is an issue.
The food is a humongous issue. Do you guys, anything else? It's like I'm really
Because
thinking.
the acceptance of just the quick fix.
Exactly, yes, absolutely. Stress, different stresses on our body, and yes, you're both actually correct on that one. So the quick fix becomes an issue with multiple different things. But there's, for example, there's physical stress, chemical stress, which a lot of times goes with the quick fixes, and emotional stress. There's some good physical stress, like exercising our body, which is great. There's also trauma, obviously. But yeah, the food we eat, the water we drink, it's just an air we're breathing. There's so much toxins. There's more toxins now than there ever has been. That's why I really try to get away from the plastics. Why you guys get those weird little milk, milk bottles like you get from school, like the chocolate milk ones. They're plastic free. They're very cool. Yeah, they reminded me of school for some reason. But yes, they're the plastic things or plastic bottles we all drink out of. They've got something called BPA, which I'm sure a lot of you've heard. And also, even the storage containers or different things that say BPA free have something called BPS, which is more toxic. All these, it's ridiculous. I could go on and on about that. But all those, they're called xenoestrogens, build up in our bodies and our fat cells. It creates weight gain, inflammation, autoimmune processes, cancers. It is becoming a huge problem. There's the infertility rates are going up at an all-time high. Men's testosterone is dropping like crazy. I've got men coming in here very young. We have like the testosterone level of an 80-year-old man. I see it constantly. It even happened with my husband too. I'm like, what is happening? But he was full of toxins too. That's why it's so important we need to detox. Anyone here know what Roundup is? I promise you, if we were checking your bodies right now, we all have it in a very large quantity. Glyphosate is very, very rampant. Anyone hear about glyphosate before? So it's sprayed onto our crops, it's Roundup. And then we eat those crops and it gets in our body, which creates holes into our gut and into our brain. It's a problem. So, and also we can control how much alcohol we drink, of course, and not drinking out of plastics, of course, and smoking. But also, do you guys know why those artificial sweeteners are baby colors? Like baby pink, baby blue, baby yellow?
Do you think they're safe?
You are the first person to answer that correctly. Yeah, advertising. Good job, Mark, you get it. Yes, that's exactly right. It's advertising, marketing, thinking it's, safe. And what it's doing, it's also skyrocketing our insulin more than sugar, so actually it makes it worse, and also pokes holes into our gut. I can keep going with that one. Yeah, it's a problem. And aren't those chicken breasts, large chicken breasts, chickens are not that big. Their poor food is injected with so many hormones and artificial sweeteners. It's not normal. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know emotional stress is just as damaging as all the different kinds of stress. I cannot change how your significant other behaves, obviously, or mother-in-laws or whatnot, but we can change the way our body processes that stress, absolutely. This is why it's so important to detox, because those toxins build up in our bodies, and they don't come out unless you make them come out, so it's really important. There's a way to detox. We'll talk about that in a moment. And there's different types of hormones. There's fat burning and fat storing. Fat burning is like growth hormone, insulin like growth factor, glucagon, thyroid hormones, testosterone. And fat storing like insulin, estrogen, and cortisol. I've had people say, well, I only want the fat burning. I'm like, no. You don't have insulin, you're type 1 diabetic, that's not good. You don't have estrogen, well, you're full blown menopause. And men, Mark, you need estrogen just as much as women do, and you get that from testosterone. And cortisol, if you didn't have that, you've got something called Addison's disease. Bad. Everything needs to be in the right balance, in the right reference range. And also, those reference ranges for Quest CPL LabCorp are just the national average for age category group. It's not optimal at all, so we go by functional ranges versus the national average for sick people. So, question, let's just think of a typical American breakfast of cereal and milk, coffee, and orange juice. Which food will increase the insulin?
Orange juice.
And?
Milk
And?
and cereal.
Yeah. And one more?
Coffee.
It can, depending what's in it, yes.
Aspartame.
Very good. Yes. There you got it. Yes. Which will increase your estrogen?
Milk.
Yep. If it's not organic, yes. And which will increase your cortisol, your stress hormone?
Coffee.
Correct. This is typically what people eat for breakfast. And then you're messing up your hormones right away in the morning. So it's very, very important. Like, for example, has anyone here heard you want to eat small, frequent meals to keep the blood sugar stable? Have you guys heard that?
Yeah.
Do you know where that came from? I had to research where that came from. I was taught that in grad school even. It came from the food industry. And I'm like, what the heck? And so we all kind of started teaching that. And I started noticing over the years that telling that patients that they were eating, 3 meals a day, to start eating small, frequent meals would all start gaining weight. But we were taught this forever. And then really understanding eating small, frequent meals all day, keep your insulin levels high all day. It's insulin's a storing hormone. The worst advice ever. So we kind of work through that. Yeah, it's a problem. And also for those of us who deal with stress, we're supposed to make a higher amount of cortisol, stress hormone, in the morning, and throughout the day it should taper off to be very low so we can sleep. What happens, stress, we wake up and that cortisol is very, very low, and we're like dragging. Throughout the day it does this, and then we're tired but wired at night. That's adrenal fatigue, and believe it or not, that can be reversed. It's very common. So which one do you have? stress, adrenal issues, anemia, liver congestion, hormone issues, gut infections, low vitamin D, blood sugar all over the place, chronic inflammation, infections, insulin resistance, heavy metals, toxicity, food allergies, gluten issues, celiac disease, or a virus.
Probably all of them.
So when you go to a traditional doctor, the first thing they think of is like, what diagnosis do they have? What's the second thought?
I got 5 minutes left.
Well, true, yes. But what do they do? Like,
What medication can I give you for that?
Pill.
what drugs do they need? And that's honest to God what we were taught. We were taught, like in school, disease management, not health promotion, not disease prevention. It was always about the medication and the health issue. Pharmaceutical companies spent billions a year to make you think that way. And I was literally thinking back about 20 years ago when I was a new nurse practitioner, just learning everything. I had the Synthroid company, which is a thyroid company that's it's T4, teaching me how to test what labs to use and how to treat with their medication. And back then I didn't know any different, but that happened all the time, and it was completely wrong information and truly the wrong treatment too, but this is wrong. Speaking of wrong, this is the most infuriating slide that I have, and it's ridiculous. This comes from the Medicare Journal, which all different, Medicare, which all the different insurance companies look towards Medicare for the policies and procedures. Care that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life is not considered medically necessary and therefore not payable. I'm just going to say it again for fun. Care that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life is not considered medically necessary and therefore not payable. Do you feel your health insurance will take care of you? No. By a show of hands, who wants to be stuck in a broken healthcare system? Yeah. By a show of hands, I'm assuming I know the answer. Who wants to take control of their health because no one else is going to help you do it? Do you do it?
I'm shaking my head.
It's wrong. It is so wrong. So the sick care model, prescription drugs, Americans spent $535 billion in 2018, a 50% increase in 2010. So that magic healthcare insurance does not pay for everything, and it just keeps going up. I love that Holly allowed me to share her story because honestly, she looked great before, and she was never taken seriously. So I can relate to her a lot. She was so frustrated. She felt so terrible. She was exhausted. Her daughter was like, okay, mom, let's go do stuff. And she couldn't do it. Trying to run a business, and she's like, I can barely do anything. She had gained over 26 pounds. She was exercising really well, and she had a really good diet. And she's like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm trying to do everything, and nothing's working for me. Her labs were always normal. Looking at her lab, she was 1 point away for diabetes, but that's normal? No. She was diagnosed also polycystic ovarian syndrome, low thyroid, and 51, 1 point away from diabetes. She's like, I'm at the end of my rope, I don't know what to do. But after trusting the process and doing the work, she was sleeping better, more energy, her weight came off, she lost her 26 pounds. She now has tons of energy, she can run her business, she's going out of the country all the time now with her daughter and her husband. It's the best investment she's ever made, and she's very grateful. And like I said, some people just want to come here to optimize their health, run marathons. Some people are really struggling. This is really for any walks of life, but I love the fact that she allowed me to share her story. She feels really good, and it's not always about how you look and being judged, and it was so frustrating to her, but I'm so excited for her. So as we go through the next set of slides, I want you to really start thinking, are you willing to do something different? And I want you to start thinking about what your why is. And I'll definitely share mine in a second. But I want you to start thinking like, who looks up to you? Who depends on you? What happens if we don't take care of ourselves?
Sick.
Right. So what happens, let's say Mark, you get sick, what happens?
Can't live a normal life, people have to take care of me,
Right,
more expenses, not
Yeah.
good quality of life.
right. And what happens, same thing happens to you.
He takes care of me.
We're both like that doing well. But yeah, just things to think about, like really what is your why? And I'm gonna share with you what my why is. And those are my children, my boys. So it's always like, I always tear up talking about this because my boys are I love them to pieces. Braden is 8 and Grayson's 5, and I love those boys so much. They're playing baseball right now. Since I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, they have a 50% chance of having it as well. Majority of people in my condition are in wheelchairs. And I'm just gonna be honest, I'll be damned if that happens. I always want to live by example because they watched. And I don't want them to ever say like, oh, mommy's in a wheelchair, I'm gonna do the same thing. So it's more than just me, and I want to always be my best version of myself, but I want to always lead by example for them, to know mommy is always gonna be there. And I do not want to be a burden on them or my husband. Like that's my greatest fear, I'll just be honest. But my why is also expanded. My why is also including, like, I want to take care of people and help people that I really want to help too, to teach them generational help so they're not only able to help themselves, but help other people in their families too, because it's more than just us. So with your whys, if your why usually doesn't make you cry, it might not be big enough. I've been telling people that for a long time, but start thinking about what's important to you, who's important to you, and who relies on you, whose life could also be impacted positively if you do something with your life. So, but this is mine. My husband's wonderful too, that I sometimes forget to mention him, but yes, he's here. I love that man. Your why will literally break you through the terror barrier. We all have fears. And a lot of people say, well, I'm really scared of trying one more thing that might not work for me. I've been disappointed in the past. And I understand, I've been there myself too. But we really look towards where you want to be. And, you know, because as long as we have a why, we know where we want to be, we can achieve that. We got to look towards that. So we all might have fears of failure. There's fears of success. There are fears of trying one more thing that doesn't work. We work towards that. We go through that as long as we have a why that's really important to you. And now we're going to go through those 5 pillars of health and why we get the success that we do, which does include the nutrition, the hormones, fitness, detox, and mentoring, and we do them together in a process. So whatever you've heard about detox, eliminate it from your brain. It's not that. Do a lot of you guys know that 80% of your immune system is in your gut? I get a lot of yeses now.
I hear a lot about gut health.
Yeah.
You what? I'm so sorry?
They talk a lot about gut health.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. The liver and the gut are responsible for proper use of hormones, so it does help clean out the liver, the kidneys, the gut, and the skin. Going through this process, and we always begin with nutrition, and it builds upon to this. So people that wake up in the morning, they feel bloated, that gets better, weight loss starts happening, the joint pain, inflammation starts getting better, skin starts to clear up, and people come in with a glowing complexion. You're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's crazy. And the blood pressure starts going down. The pulse starts getting better. I've seen so many amazing things because things are starting to get healed. But we always begin with nutrition that builds upon this. It's not that. Promise you. Not that. You're never going to run into the bathroom doing weird things. No, it's not that. Like I said, we always begin with nutrition or build our way to the detox. But I'm sure you guys know the purpose of food, that which is eaten to sustain life, provide energy, and promote growth and repair of tissues. That's the point of nutrition. And I know a lot of you know nutrition can either be life-saving or take your life with type 2 diabetes. Is anyone here afraid of giving up certain foods? You can be honest. Thank you for your, I appreciate it. Which food are you worried about?
Like cheese and milk. That's I hear that a lot, and it would be hard for me to.
I appreciate your honesty. Anything you guys are afraid of?
I like cheese and milk too, and I know a lot of them require you to give that up. And I also like an occasional glass of wine.
Okay. And this is not about deprivation. There's usually there's a point you're moving for a short period of time, and then just kind of see how your body feels. So I understand. I appreciate that. What about you, Mark?
Anything that tastes good.
Well,
If it tastes good, it's probably not good for you.
not necessarily. Your palate, your taste buds change. The
You have to
healthier you
change,
eat,
yeah.
you start craving different things. Has anyone experienced that yet?
Yeah.
It's true.
I have never not craved a large pizza,
Okay.
no matter what.
Well, yet.
I
Do you see how I did that? Yeah.
did.
Yes. Well, I grew up eating those, those little powder sugar donuts, those really big bags. I ate a bag in the morning. Every morning, a full bag. Every morning. And by 12, no one could figure out my triglycerides were about 350. That's a very high number. Usually want less than 100. So, yeah. My point is, I thought I'd always crave that. If I ate that now, I'd get sick to my stomach. If I ate a pizza, I'd get sick to my stomach. But I don't crave it anymore. So it's really interesting. The healthier you eat, as you go through this process, you stop craving the things that don't make you feel good. My husband is visual after pizza. How do you feel afterwards?
It depends on how much.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I can have 1 or 2 slices, but
Right.
it doesn't happen, right?
It's right. He eats. Yeah.
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 Plus, I'm in the finance financial industry, so it's dollar cost averaging. So the more you eat, the less the cost is. So.
Oh, got it. They do that. Yes. Fitness for the topic is also fatigue hormones and all that as well. So if anyone is here not, exercising, we usually work on the energy first if you're just exhausted in order to exercise. So telling someone who's like exhausted, which that's where I was like, go exercise and do this. I'm like, I don't feel good and I can't. So we work on that first where you're able to exercise. And it doesn't mean you have to join a gym and do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Like we figure out the things that you enjoy doing and kind of build upon that.
Mm-hmm.
Like me personally, I see a trainer that understands my connective tissue once a week, but I went walking before I came here. Like there's different things that I do based on what I enjoy doing. It doesn't mean you have to be so regimented as one certain thing. We like to make things different. And getting outside is so important. Does anyone get outside enough?
Vitamin D.
Not enough.
I don't think any of us do. We all need to get outside more, but sometimes I know it's hard. It does not have to be that. I break my neck again doing that one. Like, no. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can be in a group, it can be by yourself. I like to be by myself exercising, but it's whatever you guys do, you guys can do it together. It's whatever you like to do. And there's different, oh, you okay?
Yeah, just.
It happens. I drop everything, don't worry. And there's different body types that goes along with different hormone issues, but not everyone's the same. Oh, it's okay. Don't even worry.
Just water.
It's just water. Yeah, it's just water. You're good. Don't even worry. But the estrogen body type, you get the more lower weight that starts happening. Adrenal, more of the belly that starts happening. That can be also indicating a Cushing syndrome. Thyroid is more of a weight gain everywhere. Does anyone know what the liver belly, where men get the liver belly from?
Beer.
Beer is one of them. Yep. Anything else?
Pizza.
That could be it too. Yes.
Oh my
Insulin
gosh.
resistant.
I thought there was no judgment.
We're just beating you up today. But also, we talked about all those toxins that start building up. It plummets a man's testosterone, and then they start making less estrogen. Then the weight starts happening. So when I said men need just as much estrogen as we do, I was being serious about that. But that's because the testosterone goes down. So yes, it also medications can also create that as well. So yeah, there's different body types. That's why it's so important to know what the optimal reference ranges are and go towards that versus just guessing. A lot of people are not educated about what hormones need to be or certain labs need to be and what the reference range truly is. So it's really important to know that. So mentoring is my favorite, and these are our mentors over there. Because we help you determine the underlying cause, creating a unique plan for you, educating and empowering you. We help guide you through the journey. We don't want you to do this all by yourself. Hold you accountable, encouraging you, and celebrating you. We don't want this to be one more thing that you try that does not work for you. And I share, those are our mentors. I'm being very serious. We always want to lead by example. You always want to be mentored by people that are also mentored. So, like in the past, like whenever I go to therapy, which has been a long time, but I only see people that have also been in therapy. This, for example, or actually, or coaches, the trainers that also are trained, because leading by example is extremely important to me. But I'm here for you guys. Randa's here. She's our office manager. We're here to literally help anyone who's at a place that wants help. Truly, I would love to mentor each one of you. But find a mentor. So it's very important. So what we offer are customized, all-inclusive programs, and everyone's programs will be completely different depending what's going on. So we need to figure that part out. And with nutrition, fitness, detox, hormones, and mentoring, which one would you want to remove or that you could remove and get the same results?
The answer is probably none of them.
But would you want to remove any of them? I usually have people say exercise. So is that a common answer?
I don't think you should though.
I agree with you. I think people like, I don't want to exercise. I'm like, well, maybe you don't feel good yet, but we'll work on that. Yeah, it's a trick question. So you're exactly right. And I know like a lot of times people have tried one thing or two things and it gets okay results. And I've been there myself. That's why putting into a system works so well and getting really, really good results and working your body through the inside out to get healthy. Because we really want to get off that sinking ship if that's where you're at and really get you here. And it could be where you want to be on a boat in Fiji. Fantastic, that's great. It could be that you want to just be able to play with kids, grandkids. Like I always want to be able to go on the floor and play with my boys, or just do whatever they're wanting to do because they're very active. You know, some people want to be intimate with their partner and it's been years, or they just want to go on trips or see their family or whatever that situation is. It's really to figure out what's important to you and go towards that. We really want to turn a crisis, if that's where you're at, into an opportunity. And like I said, everyone's in a different place. We've got people that just want to run marathons and they've done it. So this is for literally any walks of life. I love this Chinese proverb, tell me and I may remember, show me and I will remember, involve me and I will understand. You will be involved in the process. This is not traditional medicine where you get a medication or out the door and then see what happens. So we are here to co-labor with you. You're not going to be alone in this process. And this is why it works so well. So wake up and stop procrastinating. What does procrastinating do?
Wait till the last minute.
Would you say
Delays.
delays?
Delay the inevitable.
That's true. And how do you feel about yourself if you keep procrastinating?
It's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle, yes. My mentor that I used to have, he's no longer here, unfortunately, but he used to always say to me, if not now, when? And he used to get under my skin so much, I'm like, because I always knew he was right. So the longer it takes us to do something we know we should do now, it's harder and harder to do it. So wake up and stop procrastinating, because cats have 9 lives, we have 1. We have 1 life. I love Sarah. I know I say I love them all, but I do. I really do. I truly do. Her picture is actually right here if you guys ever want to look at that. She made this slide. She came in literally, I'm talking sobbing. She was so depressed. She literally kept gaining weight. She was not sure what's going on. She has a very, very high profile job. She couldn't think straight. And she honestly had suicidal ideation and she's like, I can't do this. I can't feel like this. This is awful. Has a daughter. She's about to get married, all those things. So she wanted to share her weight was out of control, no energy, depressed, 0 sex drive, very short fuse, brain fog. Today, her weight completely is gone. Her energy's back. Her sex drive is getting better. Mental clarity. She can remember things. She's excelling in her job, which is fantastic. Her experience, her program is easy to follow, step-by-step coaching, personal touch. She was worried about being hungry, and not once was she hungry, and she was really happy about that. No guessing. If you follow your program, it works. Worth the investment. She wished she would have found the program sooner. She is now, she also was saying that she wanted to go out of the country to see her family, and she never felt like she could. She was exhausted. She didn't want her parents to see the way she was, taking care of her health. Now she's gone multiple times. She's not, Brandon, when is she getting married? She's
I
engaged.
have no idea when she's getting married.
Soon, I think.
Soon, yeah. She came in actually a few weeks ago with her beautiful ring. She's like, it's happening. She is, I've never seen such an amazing transformation in somebody. It's just life changing. So I'm very, very proud of her. And her daughter is also excited because she has her mom back. Very, very important. So it's your chance to do something different and change your life. Or our life is left to chance and it's not worth that. So what's the catch? You have to do the work, there's no shortcuts. This dog is happy as a clam, right? Is the person in the car getting exercise? No. So no, that's why I said we're here to co-labor with you, but you have to do the work. You have to be accountable to your health and want to do something different with your health. It's a funny picture, but what would you do if you saw this outside?
There's a guy around our neighborhood that rides his bike with his
Oh, the dog?
Yeah, he walks the dog while he's on his bike.
Well, at least he's moving his legs.
I think the dog's pulling him along.
Okay, well that's
He's just saving gas money.
You just save gas money, but the dog's gonna exercise.
Yeah.
But he is not. So what's next? I'm really excited because this is my favorite part. So what we're offering here is a complete wellness evaluation. And what this is a consultation with me where we develop a wellness evaluation, go over a certain things which we'll talk about. And I develop a plan of action for you to go forward with. So you'll be leaving here with some paperwork to fill out with questions on there you've probably not been asking for, but you should have been a long time ago. Questions if things don't, things progress in your health and things go downhill, what are you afraid of developing? Like what things are you really afraid if things don't change? Like what's in your family? Like are you gonna be like your mom or your dad? Or what things you're afraid of? And then on the flip side, like where do you wanna be? What are your health goals? Like what are your bucket list things? Like where do you wanna be in your health? Who's likely to be affecting? And of course, important things, medical history, medication supplements, family history, all that too. But so we will have you fill that out and bring that with you to your complete wellness evaluation. So, question: when you go to a traditional practitioner, how long are you guys face to face? 7 minutes. What about you guys?
Probably.
For an annual
Probably pretty
exam,
close.
though, it's probably closer to 30 minutes.
That's impressive. Okay, Mark is jealous. He's looking at you with jealousy.
Yeah, I mean, because usually the assistant comes in first and
Right.
has to, they
Right.
weigh you and take your vital.
Right, but they're not
That's
there.
fair. I'm just
But
thinking
that-
about the length of the appointment.
The doctor,
Okay.
the doctor only sees you for a short period of
Probably
time.
10 minutes.
For 10 minutes, yeah. When I was going to see my
Sometimes I have to pull her back.
do you want to say?
Sometimes I just have to pull her back.
Because that's okay. You can do that. My POTS cardiologist, which there's not very many in this United States at all, I will wait in the waiting room for 3 hours. I see him for 5 minutes. I get very frustrated. How long are you waiting in the waiting room? Yeah, long time, right?
Yeah.
What's the minimum amount of time?
30 minutes.
I feel like I get it pretty quick with my primary.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I try to book for that very reason. I try to book an 8 o'clock appointment the first thing in the morning.
That's smart.
I
I
feel
do
like
the same
as the
thing.
day goes on,
It gets
if
more
7
time.
minutes becomes
It's like
8
a-
minutes, then you're
Yes, which it always does.
yeah.
Absolutely. National average, I already shared with you guys, face to face, 7 minutes. In the waiting room, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. So it kind of sounds, what's that for you? The waiting room here. So does anyone know what you're charged for a traditional practitioner appointment?
Like copay or
$185.
Not the copay, but like your EOB comes in, you ever look at that?
$200 something.
Yes, it could be anywhere from $200 to $400. So if you think about it, you're waiting for a long time in the waiting room, except for you. You're spending a very minimal time with them, and then you're getting charged that. It's kind of silly. I do spend a full hour with you. The cost and the value is traditionally $287, but because you guys are here tonight and you've been educated, I don't have to go over all this with you as well. It's just discounted down to $87. So why do you feel $87 is important to be charged? It does not cover my time, honestly, but why do you feel it's important?
I just get a nice overview of making that change and
Yeah.
finding out and getting excited about it.
Well, true. But it's also skin in the game. Allows me to know that you're going to be there for your appointment. We're also going to reserve that time for you for your appointment. But yes, that's true too. So if you want your spouse or significant other to also be evaluated at the same time, it is just an additional $47. So very, very important. They'll have their own paperwork. We'll add some more time to that. But if your spouse or significant other does not want to be evaluated, we will still have them come to your evaluation. Why do you feel that's important?
Support.
Right. Would it be hard to be coming here and Mark would not be coming?
It'd be fine, but I think having him know the why behind and supporting my journey would be important.
Yeah, yes. And couples, it's really nice to have both of you guys there being evaluated at the same time. But if just one of you guys do, it's just $87. Okay. So things to remember. Fill out your paperwork completely before the appointment. We want to spend that time filling it out. We want to make sure that we spend that time going over it and coming up with a plan for you. Appointment schedule over the next 2 weeks. I do this talk frequently, so we do have time over the next 2 weeks, so we'll get those scheduled tonight. Show up on time. I always want to make sure to honor everyone's time. Everyone's busy. I always make sure I start on time as well, so I don't want to be late for anybody. Spouse or significant other must come with you. It's the only time they need to be there. If you like, oh, I don't want them here, we'll just that one time, and the rest of the time, they don't have to be there, obviously. The only exception, if you're about to boot them out of the house, divorce, don't bring them, obviously, or active military overseas, no. But everything else, make sure they come. Limited appointments, we only take so many practice members a month, so definitely want to make sure, get you scheduled. Make yourself a priority. So it's all about you guys and what's important to you, who's important to you. I don't want anyone to get to this place. And I know I won't be going over that again, but we never think we're gonna be there. And sometimes it just happens like what just happened. I don't want that to happen to anybody. It's your chance to do something different and change. So we'll go over frequently asked questions, and Rand's gonna come out here and have you sign the paperwork, collect the $87, get your appointment scheduled. But first we'll go over some very frequently asked questions. First question is, can we help everybody? What do you guys think?
I always,
You all think the same things.
I always go back to the question of how many doctors does it take to change a light bulb?
Never heard that one.
I've heard that for the
I
Aggies.
Yeah.
never heard that one.
It only takes one doctor to change a light bulb, but the light bulb has to want to change.
I like that.
That's
I actually really like that. Because you're right. Because someone, you can't coerce them, force them. They have to be in a place, not knowing what's going to happen, but at least being ready and willing for change. I like that actually. I'm going to start using that one. I like that one.
I
So
think
yes.
I think I just say 87 no.
He's funny. So the next logical question we get is, does insurance pay for this?
No.
That's a very
Wellness.
Do what?
This is like one of those ones.
Yeah, well, insurance makes so much money with you being sick, unfortunately.
That's
So
it, yeah.
you get well, then they don't make money.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. So the next logical question is it affordable? Absolutely. We have all walks of life. We got single moms, single dads, retirees, a lot of retired military. We usually make something work within a budget. So when there's a will, there's a way to make it happen. And the last question we get is, can we do this remotely and virtually? Absolutely. We do recommend the first appointment be done in person. It works a lot better. But if you want the rest of them to be virtual, we can definitely do that. So what we're gonna do, Brandon's gonna come around just to the three of you, get you signed up. I'm gonna keep this slide up here. Go through right here. I will step aside answering private questions. I know we're a very small little group here, but thank you guys so much. You guys were a fun audience. Truly, the three of you, I like this a lot. So this was nice.
Can I ask one question?
Of course you can.
So on the wellness evaluation, because obviously if it's just evaluating the paperwork we filled out, it doesn't really, like, you don't know, does he have a hormone issue, or do I have a hormone issue, or so at what point does that come into?
So yeah, like during the complete wellness evaluation, we really did evaluate whether it's a good fit for us to work together. Don't ask me, Miranda, what the programs will look like for you tonight. That's what that appointment's for, why it's discounted. So we'll kind of see the length of time, what's going on, and then we sign you up, and then we get those labs done first. Because those are very important, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good
Because
question.
wouldn't that really be the starting point to understand what your plan should be?
The
Like understanding the labs and where you're at and what you need, either if it's nutrition or hormones or.
Well, the program goes, I keep thinking it's a QB slideshow, sorry. It's those 5 pillars of health, it's all encompassing of those. So yes, everyone needs those essential elements like we discussed. But yes, labs are part of that too, but we really develop like what are you needing, the length of time, and figure out what you need.
And is the cost associated with the involvement and the length of time and
Yeah, we go over that
the
during
support
the,
and all that?
yeah, we go over that in the complete wellness evaluation. I go over the length of time, what that looks like, yes. But we need that evaluation to see what you're dealing with, you know, what issues, what medical issues, where you wanna be, and then we talk about that. So I need to get a really good idea of what's going on.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Trying to think. So usually the hormones evaluations
Thank you.
that we'll do, are those covered by the insurance usually or